came in through statements attributed to Lee Oswald's wife, who is still in seclusion, being questioned further by federal authorities. She's reported to have told them that one night last April, Oswald returned home and boasted that he had shot at Walker. There was such a shooting last April. That much is fact. Here is a police officer that night who rushed to Walker's home. He's examining the hole made in a window frame of Walker's second-floor study. The general was sitting at his desk making out his income tax return. The bullet missed his head by inches, bore through a 9-inch wall, and settled in the adjoining room. Walker was spattered by wood and glass splinters, but not seriously hurt. Police, here searching the yard the following morning, determined the bullet came from a high-powered rifle not more than 75 yards away. Just who fired it is not yet proven. Here's what Walker said at the time.
And this is just further indications that there is a threat to our individual rights and liberties.
That was Walker last April 11th, the morning after the apparent attempt on his life. He is quoted now as saying he knew nothing about Oswald until Oswald was arrested in the killing of President Kennedy 2 weeks ago. Oswald's mother said today she knew of no connection between her son and General Walker. The mother also vowed her son's grave would not be moved, despite threats it might be desecrated. Meanwhile, the investigations continue, but the State Court of Inquiry has been postponed until the Presidential Commission finishes its work. This was the site of the assassination as it looked about the same time today. The floral displays placed there since the awful moment were moved from a grass slope onto a stone arch in Dealey Plaza alongside the spot on the highway. People have been coming here to look since that moment 2 weeks ago, asking questions and hearing about it from a Dallas Park patrolman.
It was just about this time 2 weeks ago that the president's party was coming down Main Street between those two buildings, turned to the right on Houston, and then to the left on Elm, right in front of it. The first shot was fired. You can just barely see the marking that the surveyors have marked in feet, 881, on the far curve. Lee Oswald was in the Texas School Book Depository. He was on the 6th floor of this building, the far right window, the square window next to the round cone.
There is talk here of some appropriate monument being erected in Dallas, but no agreement just where or what it should be. This may turn out to be an academic question. The monument may in fact be right here, special structure or not, official stamp or not, as people come to the site and look and remember that it happened right here. Herbert Kaplow, NBC News in Dallas, Fort Worth.
James B. Conant, Ralph Bunch, Robert A. Lovett, E.B. White, Edmund Wilson, Pablo Casals. It was awarded posthumously to John F. Kennedy, Pope John XXIII, and Herbert Lehman, who died yesterday. The president will go to New York tomorrow, or Sunday, for Lehman's funeral. The list, except for his own name and that of Pope John, was made up by President Kennedy before he died. Otherwise, today, President Johnson met with the military and diplomatic people and talked in private about defense, foreign policy, and the budget. At the Capitol, in the meantime, the Republicans had something to say. It was that a national tragedy should not be expected to produce unanimity on all of the requests made by the late president. That is to say, those who opposed Mr. Kennedy's program when he was alive might still be expected to oppose it now. In the Senate, Senator Simpson, Republican. A little knot of people gathered on the sidewalk on N Street in Georgetown and watched bird cages, model sailboats, and other family possessions carried in. This will be the temporary residence lent to her by the Averill Harrimans, and she'll find something permanent later. Her sister, Princess Radziwill, along with Mrs. Robert Kennedy, came by briefly. And in a White House car, Mrs. Kennedy, John Jr. carrying a flag, and Carolyn arrived and moved in. It's an 11-room house with a big garden, well screened for privacy, and the furnishings include the Harrimans' splendid collection of French Impressionist paintings, one of the best anywhere outside a museum. As Mrs. Kennedy was moving, Mrs. Johnson had a short statement to make about the lasting impression she'd made on the White House, and she made her statement in the Johnson House in Spring Valley.
Today, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy leaves the White House and leaves in it her shining gift of beauty. At every turn, we are freshly conscious of our rich heritage. From the most knowledgeable expert to the busloads of school children who visit, we will always know that a young and radiant First Lady lived here. We know her better than ever before and hold her close to our hearts with inexpressible pride.
The Johnsons will move into the White House in the next few days over the weekend.